rise and fall of Lehman Brothers. When greed becomes an empire's downfall. Disclaimer: some visuals and narrative elements in this video are AI generated for educational and storytelling purposes. While the events in this documentary are based on real history, certain scenes may be dramatized for clarity and engagement. For more than a century, Lehman Brothers wasn't just a bank. It was an empire, a towering institution that survived wars, depressions, and global crises. A firm so powerful that governments trusted it and markets worshipped it. But on a single morning in 2008, the unthinkable happened. The empire that once helped build America crumbled into dust, triggering the largest financial collapse in modern history. It wasn't destroyed by war. It wasn't destroyed by competitors. It wasn't destroyed by fate. It was destroyed by its own greed, its own arrogance, its own belief that it was too big to fall. If you love powerful stories about ambition, wealth, power, and the empires that shaped our world, make sure to subscribe, like, and share this video. Your support helps this channel create more high-3 quality documentaries to help you fully understand how Lehman Brothers became one of the most powerful institutions in American history and why its collapse caused global chaos. We will divide this documentary into clear chapters: the rise, the transformation, the risk, the bubble, the fall, the aftermath, the legacy. Each chapter reveals the psychology, decisions, greed, ambition, and fatal miscalculations that turned Lehman Brothers from a titan into a cautionary tale. Let's begin. Chapter 1: The Humble Beginning. 3 brothers, 1 dream. The story begins in 1844, when a young German immigrant named Henry Lehman arrived in America. He wasn't rich. He wasn't powerful. He didn't speak English well. But he had a vision and a hunger for opportunity. He opened a small shop in Montgomery, Alabama, a simple dry goods store. Soon, his brothers Emmanuel and Mayer joined him. Together, they formed Lehman Brothers. What made them different was not what they sold, but what they noticed. Farmers often paid with cotton instead of cash. The brothers realized they could profit more by dealing in the cotton trade itself. So they shifted from selling goods to financing agriculture. This was the moment Lehman Brothers evolved from a store into a financial institution. The lesson? Great empires often grow from simple observations and bold pivots. Chapter 2: The Transformation. From cotton to capital. As America expanded westward, Lehman Brothers followed the money. The firm financed railroads, factories, merchants, and eventually entire industries. By the early 1900s, Lehman had become a major player on Wall Street. It survived the Civil War, the Great Depression, World War I, World War II. While other firms collapsed, Lehman adapted. In the mid-20th century, the firm reinvented itself again, this time as a powerful investment bank. They financed companies like Sears, Macy's, RCA, and later major tech companies. Lehman wasn't just part of American growth. It shaped American growth. This was the age of ambition, the age of expansion, the age where nothing seemed impossible. But in finance, survival creates confidence. And confidence creates risk, risk that can turn deadly. Chapter 3. The Culture of Greed, when profit becomes the only goal. By the 1990s, Lehman Brothers had a new identity, a profit machine. A culture shift had begun, one driven by aggressive risk-taking, internal competition, massive bonuses, obsession with results. Traders who made $250 were treated like kings. Those who warned about danger were ignored or removed. Inside Lehman's gleaming offices, ambition wasn't just encouraged, it was worshipped. The bank expanded into complex derivatives, high-risk bonds, and aggressive real estate lending. Profit soared, share prices soared, executive bonuses soared. This was the kind of success that blinds leaders. Lehman believed it had mastered risk, but the truth was darker. They had begun gambling with the entire global economy. Chapter 4. The Housing Bubble, when the foundation begins to crack. In the early 2000s, America was experiencing a housing boom. Banks across the country were giving out home loans to almost anyone, even people who couldn't afford them. These were called subprime mortgages, and Lehman Brothers jumped in with both feet. They became one of the largest buyers, creators, and sellers of mortgage-backed securities. What is this? You take thousands of home loans, bundle them together, and sell them as investments. As long as homeowners paid their mortgages, everyone made money. But Lehman pushed too far. Their loans began going to unemployed people, people with no credit history, people with no income, people with no chance of paying. Why? Because the system rewarded quantity over quality. More loans equals more securities. More securities equals more profit. More profit equals bigger bonuses. It didn't matter if the loans were junk. Inside Lehman, the warning signs were ignored. Why worry about risk when profits were at record levels? This was greed in its purest form, and greed always carries interest. Chapter 5. The Crack Spread, when reality hits hard. By 2006, the housing market slowed, then reversed. People began defaulting on their mortgages. Home prices collapsed. The securities tied to those mortgages crumbled in value. Lehman was sitting on billions of worthless investments. But instead of admitting the truth, management tried to hide it. They used creative accounting to make the numbers look better. They reassured investors that everything was under control. They claimed Lehman was strong, but behind the glowing statements was a financial time bomb. Every quarter, the losses grew, the illusions faded, the empire cracked. By 2008, the world could see the truth. Lehman wasn't a titan. It was a ticking disaster. Chapter 6. The Final Days, when an empire desperately tries to survive. In early 2008, Bear Stearns collapsed. Markets panicked. Investors looked to Lehman next. Lehman's stock fell. Day after day, confidence evaporated. Creditors demanded repayment. Regulators began asking questions. CEO Richard Fuld, a man known for his stubbornness, refused to sell the firm or accept a bailout unless terms were perfect. He believed Lehman was too important to be allowed to fail. He believed someone would rescue the firm. He was wrong. Potential buyers walked away. The U.S. government refused a bailout. The markets turned hostile. Finally, on September 15, 2008, Lehman Brothers filed for bankruptcy. It was the largest bankruptcy in American history, and it triggered a global financial meltdown. Banks fell, countries fell, millions lost homes, millions lost jobs. Lehman's collapse became the symbol of the financial crisis, an empire of ambition destroyed by its own hubris. Chapter 7, The Aftermath, when the world feels the shockwaves. Lehman's collapse was not just a bankruptcy. It was a global earthquake. Within days, stock markets plunged, banks froze lending, corporations lost billions, retirement funds evaporated. Nearly every major country scrambled to respond. In the months that followed, governments issued massive bailouts. Central banks slashed interest rates. Financial regulations were rewritten. Millions fell into poverty. The world realized that one company's failure could destabilize the entire system. Lehman Brothers' fall was not just a financial event. It was a human tragedy. Chapter 8, The Legacy. When ambition teaches its final lesson, more than a decade later, Lehman Brothers remains the ultimate cautionary tale. Its rise teaches us how innovation, courage, and discipline can build great empires. Its fall teaches us how arrogance, greed, and denial can destroy even the strongest institutions. The true lesson? Ambition must be guided by wisdom. Risk must be grounded in reality. Success must be balanced by humility. Because when ambition burns too bright, it blinds the very people who believe they control it. Lehman Brothers didn't fall because of the market. It didn't fall because of competitors. It didn't fall because of bad luck. It fell because it stopped listening. It stopped questioning itself. It stopped respecting risk. It believed it was too big, too powerful, too important to fail. But history has proven over and over again, no empire is too big to fall. Not in ancient times, and not today. If the story made you think differently about ambition, power, wealth, or the forces that shape our world, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Empires of Ambition. Here, we uncover the rise and fall of the world's greatest leaders, companies, and empires, and the lessons they leave behind. Thank you for watching. And remember, empires are built on ambition, but they fall when ambition becomes blindness.